What's going on, everybody? If you're seeing all smiles on the pod, it's because I was already being an idiot before we even started. But we're back for another episode of the Crane Kicks Lex podcast. Sorry we had to skip a week. It was just a lot going on, a lot to process. I actually was coaching in a tournament game for my middle school team, so that also was happening. Unfortunately, we only made it to the semifinals, but it is what it is. Next year, we'll do the thing. Be totally fine. But we're excited to be back. We got lots of stuff to talk about. We have copious amounts of Lexington Sporting Club going on. We've got USLW, USL2, USLC, USLS, like just anything, all the acronyms. Feels like a serial number at this point. Whenever I'm calling for help with my dishwasher and they're like, read the number, and I start reading them, they're like, no, that's the wrong one. You're reading me the manufacturer number. But I don't know. Maybe it's just
what?
You've never had to call about that? There's all those numbers all over the side of the door. I get it wrong. I don't know.
And then not knowing which one.
See, this is what happens when Kyle's not here. Tangents happen. But hey, we are missing Kyle right now. He's off doing something important. Marathons while cooking a Blackstone meal. Maybe both. Okay. It's got to be. But we got Dylan, we got Jessica here, and super exciting news. I'm going to reveal it, you guys.
I was going to ask, should we share this?
Yeah, we are. We're going to be playing rec soccer. We're on a team together, and so we're going to see what happens.
We will be playing for undisclosed team and undisclosed location, but we will be playing as a team together.
In an undisclosed league, and there may or may not be Messi. And we may or may not draw. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
ready to be humbled.
You don't need to worry about where Kevin De Bruyne is going to go this season because he's going to be playing on our team.
That's probably it. He's just like, you know what? I got to.
Yeah.
But we're all going to do it. All four of us are going to be in this league. I've not played competitively in at least a decade. I've just been getting out on the field coaching wise, and I'll kick around with the kids and demonstrate things, but we're gonna see what happens whenever it's all bang bang. I'm ready to be embarrassed.
For me it's been like 15 years.
It's been at least a decade for me, probably longer. I don't even know. I can't even count it out. But that's totally fine because Kyle's never played any form of competitive soccer. So then we know he's just we'll point at him whenever something embarrassing happens to us. We'll be like, no, look at Kyle. Just watch him. He'll be like our guy we deflect to. Watch him be the best out of us though. He's like some secret soccer phenom.
He's gonna be the one most in shape out of all of us because he runs half marathons.
Good point.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And I mean, I guess, when you think about it, soccer is just a beautiful, beautiful half marathon. And sometimes you score. And then when you don't score for multiple games, it really is just like a half marathon because all you're doing is running at that point.
True.
But we're excited.
To morale, Tyler.
You know what? I'm a real positive guy, so absolutely nothing, Dylan. I just go on smiling and continue to run. But I'm excited for us. I'm excited to see what happens. It's been a minute. I'm already getting my gear in order. I already have cleats that I coach in, but I'm I need some revamped cleats because these ones are kind of old and they've seen a little bit of wear and tear. So get some fresh cleats, pop on some shin guards, test them out. I'll have Jessica kick me in the shins just randomly, and just shout shin guard check, and it'll be my fault if I'm not wearing them. They'll teach me a lesson. Yeah. So anyway, if you see us out there, don't make.
If you see us out in crutches at the stadium, you'll know why.
Good point.
Hey, we know some great physios though. Lexington Sporting Club, hook us up.
Yeah, please.
We might be in those rehab rooms with some of the players. You're not even on the team. I'm yeah, but we talk about you guys a lot. Can't I get a little bit? Put the cool inflatable leg things on me. So hopefully none of that happens. We're not going to speak that voodoo. It'll be fine. We'll do great.
No one's going to get injured. We'll have fun. We'll embarrass ourselves. And yeah.
It'll be
great.
perfect.
Yeah.
It will be. It'll be just fine. Let's okay. Let's get into some actual people who know how to play soccer at a high level.
Not us.
No. I said high level. Like I don't know if I can claim we're at a high level yet.
No,
Maybe
no,
totally
valid.
but we'll see what's up. But hey, let's just talk about our 2 leagues that just started up. So this is the craziest point in time. It's like our soccer equinox. You know, you have your sports equinox. This is our soccer equinox for LSC because we have all of our leagues going on at once. And then if you actually include just our youth teams, it's even crazier. But we're not going to worry about that. But we do have USL2 and our W League that have started back. Both have actually played their first match already. Nobody could watch them, but they played. So we saw posts about it. Apparently, things happen. Let's jump into our W League first because that's our kind of stepping stone that we first put out there to branch out from our general men's team, like for USL1 in year 1. We ended up getting W League team, which was really cool. A lot of our former W League players ended up going to the Super League, playing for them. So that's really neat to see that transition. And that's what's kind of cool about this now, especially with the Super League being fully fledged out there and in operation. You start thinking, okay, this W League team, are we going to see any of these players on next year's squad? Are we going to get our first sneak peek, and then they're going to get called up and have a moment to shine in Super League? I don't know. It's kind of like one of those cool moments where you're just getting a preview of what could be and that pathway, that pipeline that we talk about. Now, not everybody in the W League is necessarily going to be somebody from Lexington, Kentucky. You have a lot of players that come from colleges from across the country. You even have people coming from overseas that come and play in W League, get some playing time, some experience, kind of trial a little bit to see if they can go to that next level. But we have right now 23 rostered players, at least as far as I'm aware. 23 rostered players. We have 4 returners from our previous W League team. So we got Catherine Truitt, we've got Maya Maxwell, Tatum Borman, and Gianna Camuso. So we got all 4 of them back in action for us from our prior W League season, which is really cool. A couple of those being UK Wildcats. So anybody that goes out and sees the Wildcats play, very familiar with them, I'm sure. Maya Maxwell plays for Louisville, so you might even be familiar with her based on proximity and games and how those go down. I'm really excited for this because it's another way not only to get sneak peeks, but to get people out to just watch some games casually because the games are free. We some people were asking hey, what's up with W League and USL2? Are they free? Do you have to pay? I was even curious. I know Jessica, you were asking. We were sitting with a couple of W League players at the men's match, and we were trying to figure out hey, is the club kind of switched up on us and decided to start asking for people to pay to go to them? No, they are free, and you can go scope out some good soccer. Pretty low stakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got another team that you can just go if you're not really doing a whole lot one day, see what's going on, support some LSC.
Yeah.
Have you guys had a chance to look at the schedule at all?
So
No.
the first home game is Friday, May 30th. So the Friday before the last Super League game.
Which is nice. Get some Friday night soccer for us. Yeah. And so we've got kind of a little bit of a shakeup to our league, not really our league, I guess you could say our conference. So we actually had St. Charles in our conference, in our division last year. And that was that team that everybody was getting guaranteed wins off of. I feel really bad saying that, but it's
I like
true.
playing them. It was nice.
Yes. I mean, I'm not even being mean. Legitimately, every team that played them, it was we are going to win. It's kind of a lock now. I don't think they even exist at the moment, at least not in the system of USLW. So they're out of the mix now. So we ended up replacing them. So their replacement is the Dayton Dutch Lions. So now in our division, we have the Dayton Dutch Lions. We have Kingshammer. We also have Racing Louisville, who's been in their W League team, not their NWSL team. A little different. And then Indy 11, who, as many of you guys already know, we have Indy 11's former coach who actually took them to a championship. So kind of interesting having those matchups. In fact, Indy 11 had to be our very first game, which I know I was trying to watch it. I think, Dylan, weren't you telling me that you were trying to get the stream to work? Who was that? Somebody was texting me about and it just
it just
stopped.
wasn't. Yeah, I
Yeah.
encountered some like really funky stuff with it. I asked John in our Discord if he could share the link, and he shared me the link, and I had it up, and I was waiting for it. I had it for a couple minutes ahead of time, and then nothing was going. It didn't like buffer anything, and then so I clicked on like both of our pages, the Lexington page and our opponent's page, and like a live video would come up, but it would just like an ear piercing noise, and it was a blank screen. And I was like, I'm not trying anymore. So
I was able to see like a little over a minute. And then after all this, like trying to refresh and everything, I was like, it's got to be my stream. It's got to be like NBC Sports Play Engine, the app that they use. And then later I see like a random post being like, oh no, they lost power and they postponed the game. And I was like, oh, okay. And there just wasn't like a whole lot of information about that. And then it turns out like they played secretly the next morning and nobody really knew that it was going on, at least not in Lexington. And unfortunately we lost 2-0. And I'm saying some weird collusion with the storm knocking out the power sabotaged us. Otherwise we would definitely have won if we played that night. But definitely was hoping that we could start out with a win, especially being against our current coach's former team, which I know like W League, saying, oh, it's the former team. Not always, right? There's pretty high turnover when you're talking W League. It's not like you're going to have the exact same people year after year, even the coaching staff. But it would have been cool to start out with a win. I do have to say though, I am a little bummed that W League has taken such a backseat. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but like I don't feel like I see as much about the W League from the team or the club accounts. Like they'll randomly be like, "Hey guys, just the W League exists and we're playing." And then you're like, cool. But then there's like no game updates. There's no like in-game information at all. And I don't know. I mean, I get it that it's kind of overwhelming, right? There's a lot going on because, it's kind of going into succession with Super League and then it kind of runs into championship as well. But in years past, it was kind of nice because we'd at least get these little like updates periodically and be like, hey, we made a sub, or hey, this person scored, even if it wasn't crazy in depth. So I hope that's something maybe that picks up as the season goes on. We kind of get a little bit more info, especially because like Super League won't be in the mix much longer. So hopefully that frees up some time for, the powers that be to be like, hey, let's talk a little bit about W League action. I don't know. That's just me. I like it though. I'm gonna say I like all these levels.
Yeah. I'm excited for W League to be back. I had a fun time at the games that I went to last season. And I think, when you have the time for these games, if you're open on those weird timings, go to them because they're fun. And like Tyler said, they're free and it's just more fun soccer to watch. You like last season, the girls were like really like fun to root for. They were like good vibes. They, seemed like they really want to play for each other. And considering that there's, a couple returners from last season, I think that's pretty cool. And hopefully there's a little bit, like Tyler said, it's really hard to have that cohesion in the W League because of the high rate of turnover. But, we can at least try for some, and yeah, like Tyler said, any soccer is good soccer. Like I'm excited to be there.
Yeah. It's really dope, and it's such an abbreviated season that it feels like it just flies by. I mean, it just started, and then it finishes like June 28th is the final game. So like you're playing like a month and a half, not even really that.
Wow.
So it just kind of speeds by, and before you know it, it's all over. I just like you said, Dylan. I like the casual nature of it. It's fun to go out there. And like that's not saying you root any less, but it's just really cool that you get in there, you don't really know what to expect because there's a lot less info floating around about it. And then you go in and it's half the time you're pleasantly surprised.
Mhm.
I remember one game last year, I just got in town from like Florida, and there was a game starting in like 30 minutes, and I sped over and met Dylan there. We just chilled and watched W League, and it was a good match. It was like Racing Louisville, I think, that we were playing that day, and it was a really, really solid, fun match to watch. So,
That was when Michaela Woods had like a hat trick.
yeah,
It was awesome.
she was going off.
Yeah,
man,
Nice.
she was doing so good, man. That's one of those players I'm still like, man, that would have been cool to
Her
see her
and
like go to the Super
Caitlin,
League.
her and Caitlin
Fishnick.
Fishnick. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Smekrid too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Play,
Those
they're all.
three, I would have really liked to keep them.
Yes.
But like, I just mentioned the high rate of turnover and stuff, so I can't always get what I want.
I mean, I was hoping that we'd see a couple of them in the Super League. I know Smekrid and Wood are overseas right now. I think Wood's in Denmark, maybe. And then I forget where Smekrid went, but I was like, that would have been cool. But
Yeah.
it was a good vibe. And, of course, on the other side of the coin, now we've got like USL2, which this is the weirdest thing because I remember like eons ago, like before there was even a team, there was no USL1 team or anything, talking to Sam Stockley. And he was like, yes, next year we'll have a USL2 team. And then now it's like 3.5 years later. And I'm like, oh, now we have a USL2 team. But it's kind of neat because USL2 is another like weirdly chaotic league like the W League, because in the same vein, you're pulling in all these random collegiate players. And sometimes they're players that are like here, for instance, like UK players. We have a couple UK players on the squad, and sometimes it'll just be from random spots. And you're just kind of like throwing them together and seeing what's going to happen. And it's like a Fast and the Furious type of situation where before you know it, the whole season is done, which I mean, theirs is a little bit, tiny bit longer. So they started like May 17th was their first game against Kings Hammer Columbus, because we have two different Kings Hammer groups in their division, but they're not done until like July 12th. So slightly extended season compared to the W League, but still very similar vibes in regards to how like the roster is constructed and the abbreviation of the season, and a lot of college talent that you're seeing and or post-college talent. Sometimes you'll get some players in there out of nowhere that, for instance, I don't want to bring it up. I was going to say that game against Vermont, Jacob Lavovitz from Greenville ended up playing for him, and he's definitely past his collegiate playing career. But you'll get those random things where you'll see players and you're like, whoa, where'd they come from? That's kind of cool to see them out here playing for us. So the guys actually got off on a pretty good start, though. Nobody got to watch that one either, from my understanding. That did not work out, but they won. What was it? 2-1. If I remember right. Yeah, 2-1 against Kings Hammer Columbus, which for our division, I think we've got Kings Hammer Columbus, Kings Hammer Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken, and then Dayton Dutch Lions, like the ladies do. Fort Wayne is in there, which Fort Wayne's supposed to be coming to USL1, I think, unless they decided to go championship, but they've been rumored to go to one forever. And then West Virginia United is in the mix. So pretty wide variety of teams. I think it'd be kind of cool to go check one of those out, because I've not been to a USL2 game, and I know we have like our UPSL squad that had been competing for us, but I think that this is an even more different vibe than what that is. I don't know. One thing that stood out to me is the USL2 squad is not quite as like locally built is our UPSL squad, because that was like our U20 squad. So it's a lot of our like local high schoolers or people about to head off to college that we're featuring in that. Whereas the USL2 squad, we've got a couple of UK Wildcats on the squad. And then we've got, of course, a player that played for Henry Clay and then ended up going off and now plays for Penn State. So it's a pretty big variety going on for that team as well. I don't know. USL2 is also free. So that's another one that I'm kind of like, why not get out there and scope out what's going on with it?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Everything I said about the W League, I would say about this league as well. Like, if I have free time, I would love to go out to games. And to your earlier point, Tyler, just if the club is listening, make sure you're putting out all the information you can about both these teams, so the fans can stay informed, and so I can be informed and know the dates and times and where and when to watch and everything. So that'd be much appreciated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I think it would have been really cool to hear them kind of pump up the bringing back Morgan Marshall. That's the player I was talking about from Penn State that had played at Henry Clay. I think that would have been really neat to highlight that. Or like Casper Moles. Anybody who goes and watches UK soccer knows about Casper Moles or Marcus Meir. Like, throw that out there. Get that information out there for people that are like plugged into either UK or high school soccer, and make sure that they're feeling that. Because, I think a lot of people were hoping with the USL2 squad, they would see more local names, which totally understandable. I think it's also a little bit of an adjustment because, like I said, USL2 is a little bit of a different animal than UPSL. But hopefully we can kind of work in some more of that local talent as we continue to kind of get situated in USL2 and try and focus on being competitive. Because yet again, that's like another league that can be a great opportunity to feed into our championship team, get them those minutes in USL2 where there is some high level talent, evaluate them, see if maybe they have what it takes to take that next level step. And then, there we go. We found a diamond in the rough, or, that one player that we're like, oh man, like this is somebody that's from here, and we elevated them up through the system in a true way. And then before you know it, they're on that bigger stage, maybe even getting sold off to a bigger club at some point. I mean, but I guess, is there really a bigger club? Or the biggest club? Whatever. I don't care what the haters say. Yeah. So anyway, like, everybody, make sure that you go check out both of these squads. Before we leave the subject completely, though, I know you guys saw it. That USL2 kit that was in the pictures against King's
It
Hammer.
was really cool.
We digging it?
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, it was really nice.
It was. I think that's a kit that when I looked at it, I was like, why is that our USL2 kit?
Yeah, I 1000% agree.
Why was that
Mhm.
not our championship kit? Like, I would buy our USL2 kit, hands down.
Yeah.
I thought that, like, kind of like light green against the white looked really class. It was very just clean looking. And then I liked the way that they took the racing diamonds and made it offset. It wasn't down the center. Something about just putting it offset completely changed the character of it and made it have a different vibe. Because I think for the longest time, everybody was like, with these Nike Vapor kits, it's killing us that every pattern has to go directly down the middle. Can we just not? And I know it's a small thing, just like slightly scooting it over, but I think it meant a lot. And then, it's kind of weird how well it went with Hummel's like standard arrows that are coming down the shoulders. That's just like a Hummel thing, but it really looked cool with our pattern that we decided to use with that kit and the coloration. I hope they sell those kits. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they're the best kits we have, to be honest.
I'm not going to lie. I think so too. Like, if I had a lineup of our current kits, that's
That
the
would
one
be
I
the
would
best
choose.
one.
And I am not a white kit person. I don't really like white kits. They get dirty easily, and it's a whole slew of things. But even that considered, I would choose the USL2 kit for sure.
It just kind of feels like more like us.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know.
Yes.
It just felt like more our vibe than like even our current, the championship, the black green jersey. It just doesn't feel like our vibe. And then the orange jersey just doesn't feel like our vibe. But that USL2 kit, like, that just feels like Lexington Sporting Club. It's nice. It's clean. I don't know. I really like it. I'm a big fan.
Agree.
And I don't even, like you said, I don't even like white jerseys. I don't like any other sports team that I root for. I don't buy their white jersey.
No. I like the ones that have color.
Yep.
Something that makes them feel less plain, but this one doesn't feel plain to me. I don't know. I feel like it can hold up against anything else that we have out there. Hey, but maybe that's good feedback for anybody who has control over kits for the future. Try that kind of like direction on this stuff, because I think that was a win. I think that was a big one. So USL2 had 2 wins on the field this weekend.
Yeah. Or, I mean, bring back green. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm fully on that as well.
Everybody's dying for green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's got to come back. We've kind of ran the course with black. which I mean, we've said this before, I'm fully okay with black being kind of like our almost our secret primary. And then you offset it with green, but it just feels like it's time. It's time to cycle it back. We just get back to our roots and throw some green on everybody and let it be. But we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. So go check those out with free time. Let's move into championship, and then we'll talk some Super League. Does that sound good? Sound like a plan? Yeah. All right. So championship. Since we were last together, we had that 5-1 loss to Loudoun United. We thought it was our get back game that we were going to go in and be like, you know how you guys and the ref colluded against us in that first one? Well, guess what? Well, no, we didn't. We did not. That was not a get back game at all. That was very, very disappointing, to say the least.
It was bad.
And then this past weekend against Tulsa. Yeah. So I gotta say, like, penalty, little weak. I could not stand how their player immediately hopped up because like there was minimal contact. Yes, Joe Hafferty like whipped a kick at the ball. Sure, I can see that. But then it was like a slight tap with their shin guards, and then the guy like went to ground and immediately popped up when the whistle blew and started celebrating. And that just gets under my skin so bad. So bad. I'm like, come on, man. Like, don't pop up and start immediately high-fiving and screaming. Like, number one.
We got him.
Yes. Like,
we
number one.
Him.
Right. And it just feels kind of like sleazy to me because I get it. A PK is almost an auto goal. But at the same time, it's like, buddy, you drew a foul. You didn't score. Like, you're celebrating like you just won the entire game. Like, calm down and act like you've been here before. That game in general, though, frustrating, right? I feel like we've talked a lot about how we've not been able to score and we just won't shoot the ball. And it's like all of that coalesced into this one game to become the epitome of that conversation. It was like, you know what? We're going to prove your point and we're going to prove it as hard as we can in this one match. Just to illustrate it, like John posted this earlier in like our Discord. We had a 0.5 expected goal number, 0.5. That's abysmal. It's like you're not gonna score. Like you just aren't. You have no good chances, and you're not gonna make things happen. And we didn't. We had 2 shots on the night. That's it. 2 shots for the entire night. You look at like the heat map, and it's like we're making a U around their final third. Like the middle of the U is devoid of green because we're just operating on the wings and nothing else is happening in the middle. It is the exact image. I don't know of anything else that could illustrate better what we've been talking about with us just not being vicious in the box, like not taking those chances in front of goal. And it is kind of reaching a weird point where it's getting a little bit alarming. I don't know. Am I overreacting?
No, you're not overreacting. It's extremely alarming. Anytime they get the ball, their first touch is always like the best chance they have. And then they immediately squander it by touching the ball again and trying to make something out of nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's better to just shoot it where you get the ball instead of trying it because like I said it before, once you get the ball, you immediately become the slowest person on the field and there are people rushing back at you to defend you. So take the shot or make a pass. Don't play around with it because it's just going to take up time and the defenders are going to get to you. And there's so many times where we get the ball like on the edge of the box and our guys have an open look and they decide to just like hold it, wait, turn, try to find the open guy instead of just like tearing their defender a new one and ripping a shot. Like, nobody's just given the effort. I don't know what is going on because there's a huge, huge problem. Like it's almost like it's not like the yips, right? Where like you strike out and stuff. It's just like a lack of doing things, you know? it's just not trying at all. And like, I don't know what to do. Like, do you bench the guys and start new people? But then we've kind of already played around with the lineup too much. So we're already like not helping the other players on the field by switching around everything. So I really have no clue what the solution is, but we're not in a good situation. And Logan can keep us in the games, as you know, for only so long,
Yeah.
until a penalty comes up, until we pull them out for a corner kick, I don't know. I think like Burke maybe just needs to maybe not play sometime and maybe like start Bradilio.
Yeah.
Just move some guys around in different spots on the field, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys got instead.
Honestly, I feel like there was this huge hype for Burt coming in, and for me, he's been kind of underwhelming. I feel like anytime he gets the ball, and I'm pretty sure I've said this on a previous episode, his goal is to draw a foul versus actually, and I know there are other times he does try to score, or does his best, but yeah, I feel like he's more focused on drawing foul than making plays, and I don't know. That's what I feel like it seems like. That's what it seems like every time he gets the ball, and it's just really frustrating. And then, yeah, the results haven't really been there. So I don't. Yeah, I agree with Dylan. I think we need to switch up the offense a bit. Yeah, I think either Bradilio or I know Goldthorpe. He's been mainly on the wings. I think it'd be interesting to see him in that center striker position. Was it? And I know this is this is going to make me sound like
attacking midfielder.
Or what is it? The 9 that the main striker.
Yeah. The 9 is like the main striker.
Yeah, I think trying him out or starting Bardilio. Yeah, I just. It's not doing it for me.
One of my problems is a lot of people have been like, I don't know. I don't really know like there's anything wrong tactically. I think it's player effort. What else can we do? I do think there's something wrong tactically.
Yeah.
I think that one of our biggest things that it just finally started to dawn on me more and more over the past few matches is if we have the ball at the top of the box or even in the box sometimes, we already know we refuse to take shots. But not only do we refuse to take shots, we won't do it unless we kick the ball out wide first and then a cross comes in. And then we attempt some crazy crash the goal style shot. And it's not going to work every time. And I don't know what that weird situation is where it's like burned into our players that, well, yeah, you might be at the top of the box, but I need you to kick it out wide first. And then if it comes back to you, you try to score. And I think teams have figured that out. It doesn't take long to figure those things out, especially, with these coaches, their job is to study this film and look at these things and have analysts that, break it all down. And it's so wild to me. I don't know if they are being told this is how we play and this is what we do. I don't know if this is what we're comfortable with. And so this is what I want to do on the field. I don't know what it is, but like somebody needs to break the habit and just say, if you have the ball in front of the goal, I don't care if you see 3 defenders in front of you. If you see a glimmer of net, shoot the ball. Like if you see a sliver of it, shoot the ball. It's like they're overthinking. And we keep saying this, but it's true. They're overthinking. Like I'm watching my son's team, like they're U8. And this kid like runs up and there's 2 defenders crossing to block him and he shoots anyway and it curls between them and around the keeper in. And he's 7 years old. And I'm like, imagine if we were just like, you know what? I'm going to take this shot. Like chances are pretty minimal, but you know what? Shoot or shoot. You know what I mean? Like, just
Mhm.
do it. And we're allergic to it. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's systematic. I don't know if it's something with our individual players. And so then them as a collective, it compounds more, but it's not working. And we're so deep into this. Like, I looked at it because there was conversation going on in the Discord. Like, since April 1st, we've only scored 2 goals. We have 0.25 goals per match since April 1st.
Ugh.
Like, that's pretty abysmal if you're
Yeah.
looking to be a competitive team. And I think we have really talented players. Like, I really do. I think that they're a really talented group. But it's kind of like we're seeing last year all over again. We have a talented group, but something's broken somewhere, and like somebody needs to dig into there to find it and fix it, so that way we can actually capitalize on that talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last year it always felt like the midfield was where the problems were, right? Because we had Artez who would take shots, and we had Nico who would run down the wings, and try to cut inside, and take shots. But this season, it just feels like there's nothing up top in the final third whatsoever, and yeah, it's just like tactically, when are we gonna like try something new? Like we're sitting at bottom of our conference and we're getting into the season. We're in the season, and when are you just gonna say like enough is enough? And I I can see that my system is not working here. I need to make a change. Like you have to be a man and eat your words, right? Like you have to eat crow and say that you're wrong and say that your plan wasn't working, because like I can't do with another season where we fire the coach and we let everyone go, and then we hire a new coach, and the coach gets to hire whoever the hell he wants, and then it doesn't work out because his system is like unproven, and guys haven't had time to marinate in the system, and then you get someone who's hard fast to their own system, and like where's the flexibility in all of this? And I don't know, man. I just can't do it again. It's just so frustrating that we do this every single time, it feels like.
Well, I mean, that's fair too. And that's like a funny thing about coaches. Like, and I'm not saying anything like about our coaches in particular, but you do hear coaches a lot of the time be like, we want players that are adaptable, that no matter where I need them, they'll be there. But then coaches themselves aren't adaptable, and they don't want to be like, nah, we got to scrap this. We got to start all over from ground zero and see what's going on. And, I just hope that that's not the case here, because like, let's be honest. Anybody who says like we're on the cusp, like you can only be on the cusp for so long. We've been on the cusp so long that now it's like, but we're losing like all the time. Like we haven't had a win in like forever. At this point, like our last win was against Southern Indiana, and so the season is long, but it's not that long.
In the interview, right, with Boss that you posted, he said progress over outcomes. And it's like, well, you can't have progress or without outcomes. Right? Like you have to have some
measurable quantities.
Yes. And we're not getting any positive outcomes whatsoever. So we're not making any progress whatsoever.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. I think it has to be a coach tactical thing. Like you gotta change things up. Like Tyler said, you're being found out every single game. Other coaches make tactical decisions and adapt within games, and we're not doing that, and we're sticking to our game plan, which is playing out on the wings and trying to create the most perfect chance we can. And that'll be 1 or 2 times a game.
And I can't even imagine how like our wingbacks and our wingers feel though, because they are cutting so deep into enemy territory and sending across these beautiful balls and
Yeah.
and nothing is happening and they're doing it. They're working so hard just for nothing to come. And so it's just, I don't know. And Dylan, you raise a good point about the whole, like, you got to have, progress but I don't know. Just like throwing out flowery quotes can be a struggle for me. Because like, I feel like, okay, if we're losing matches, all right, that's a bummer. But then maybe we're losing matches, but at least we're scoring. That's progress. But then maybe like we're picking up some draws. We run into a string of draws, whether we're scoring or not. Maybe we're holding teams off. Okay, that's still progress because now we're seeing points from that. But then, here we are picking up wins because we're scoring regularly and we're outscoring teams, or we're putting on enough defensive effort that we're holding them. That to me is progress. And like if you run, like what's our string since Southern Indiana, since we've seen a win like this? It's been a minute.
Draw against Indy, lose.
10 matches without a win.
Draw, lose.
10 matches without a win, 3 of which were draws. So 7 losses, 3 draws, 10 games, no wins, and only 2 goals in almost 2 months. Like, I need to see progress. That to me does not speak progress. That to me says stagnation. In fact, our last game with Tulsa, that is regression. That isn't even stagnation. That is regression. And we're very apologetic about performances and the club on this pod because we love it and we understand these are humans out there trying to do something for our city and trying to do their job. But like we have to find a way because it's starting to slip away. And Lexington fans have had to deal with a lot in our short stint in the league. And I know there are plenty of fans out there who are like, well, wait till you've been here for 10 years. It's fair. But like the hype every season, just for it to be like a nail biter of a season every single time. It's rough. And it makes a lot of the decisions we've made with personnel even more rough. Because you go from, we brought this up, and like I know we're always beating the dead horse about this.
Before you go on this, you keep that thought, please. We have to beat this dead horse so people know. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. You need, like, I understand that you feel like this player are going to make your vision come true, but then like you have known quantities. Like we were spoiled with people like Ates, who would shoot and who would score. It was a guarantee that you would get double-digit goal contributions from him in a season. It was guaranteed. It is proven fact. Between assists and goals, you got it. And then this year, we're struggling to get people to even get a goal because we're so afraid to shoot. And I don't think it's a lack of talent. Once again, they're just not taking those opportunities and grabbing hold of them and saying, I'm going to make this goal happen. This is going to happen no matter what. It's got to. We play with the ball and all that hard work. As a player, I would be frustrated thinking, man, we just worked so hard to get into their half again for the 500th time and nobody took a shot. Like, how does that not like bleed into players being like, dude, you got to shoot the ball. Like if you're up there, I need you to shoot the ball. Don't look for me. Don't try and pass it off to me to shoot. I want you to do it. You have that window. I don't know.
It was advertised in interviews, with Terry Boss that he wanted to play a really attacking style, where they're high pressing and high scoring. They put the ball in the net, and we're just not seeing that. And the hire really has to come into question, right? Like Terry Boss, he has no experience USL prior to this job, right? And his last head coaching experience was the college system, where in the college system you get to pick your guys however you see fit. And in 4 3 years, and I guess now with the transfer portal, it's even less than that. people can move around like crazy and you can still be successful. Well, that just doesn't work in the USL. And, where was he for the last couple of years? He was an assistant coach. He wasn't even head coaching. So, like, I don't know what we're doing with these personnel hires, right? Like, who's watching the Watchmen? That's all I really have to say. Like, who is watching the Watchmen?
Yeah. So I was curious. I had to look it up because I was thinking of the Tulsa game, and Tyler, as you mentioned, as far as regression, I in my mind pictured our possession and our pass accuracy being really terrible for that game, but we had 66% possession and 85% pass accuracy. I was honestly really surprised to see that because it did not look like it at all. I felt like we were constantly giving the ball away. And we had 19 fouls to their 16.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like,
yeah.
It felt like the most aggressive game also. And just needlessly flopping all over the place. It was just ridiculous. So yeah, it was hard to watch. I feel like the entire game I was just like, man, this is rough. This is really rough.
Right. And this is one too where, people have brought up questionable reffing. There was some, like that time that Tulsa player was on top of Cam Lancaster, pinning him to the ground.
Yeah.
And like the side refs are just like, they're not doing anything. They're not saying anything. And like the fourth official is running with the ball and not even looking at it. And the whole time they're wrestling on the ground. There was a lot of like this weird ref showboating thing going on, which, I'm going to kind of put that to bed a little bit because yes, the reffing was bad, but I just think we were bad in that game too.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like some of these other games where it was like, man, that ref, added 18 minutes on to stoppage time and then blew the whistle as soon as the other team scored. That was like bogus, but this one was like both. You know what I mean? It was like both of these are true and both are terrible. And you're right about the stats. Like it is crazy. Like I don't know, like you mentioned pass accuracy, but it's like we had 400 passes to their 162. But that's like what we've been saying this whole time. We like to play with our food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like watching my 3-year-old scoot his chicken nuggets around in his mac and cheese for an hour. And I'm like, can you just please eat it? Like, I need you to get some nutrition in your body so you can grow. And he's like, no, I'd rather just pretend that they're in cheese lava. And I'm like, okay, man. That's great, but
cheese
now you're gonna
sound kind of fun.
Yeah, it does. It sounds pretty like the Cheezosaurus Rex from I don't even know if he exists anymore. Whatever. Crap Max and cheese.
Yes,
the cheese and it was rad. Totally 90s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I just feel like we're a broken record at this point, and I still question if we're seeing this thing week after week, and other fans are because other fans talk around us and to us all the time. Everybody sees this. So then why isn't it clicking where it needs to click with people that can actually make change happen? Or are we just incapable? Are we incapable of change? And this is just going to be a slog of a season. I hate to think that, but man, this many games in and we're struggling this hard. And it hurts even worse because I feel like that first game that we played, it felt so good.
Yeah.
We felt so dangerous and we were just like, yes, like finally what was promised is happening.
Something.
Yeah.
Yes. And now we're like, oh.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say is in the big, like the first few games, even when we drew, we're like, or I think I'm trying to remember. I don't remember
against
exactly.
Indy 11.
Yeah, or even like a couple that we lost. It's like, but we fought and played really well. But I feel like as the games continue, it becomes a lot harder to say that. It's we lost and that did not look good. The it's changing and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Progress has to happen. If we're going to say progress
Well, we need outcomes,
over result,
Tyler.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, we have to have measurable outcomes that we can look and say this, because right now, just being like, well, we had great pass accuracy, or we passed the ball 4 times as much as the other team, or hey, we were in the opponent's half more than they were in our half. None of that matters unless we're getting some type of points or minimum goals,
Yeah.
minimum bar. And I think we've said this before. That's the minimum, is scoring, like, or holding them to a 0-0 draw. I'd even take that. If you're not going to score, absolutely make sure that they can't. Like, just lock it 100% down. And there's only so much we can do about blaming the refs too. The refs have been a menace this season. We can't mince words about that. They've been a menace this season. They've been horrible. Like, it's been so bad. But if we just keep saying, "Oh, we lost again," and those refs and those bad calls, we have to do something about it, because other teams are finding ways to do something about it.
Yeah.
They're finding ways to sneak around the bad reffing. So
And they're still scoring.
Then there's a common denominator. If it's always
Yeah.
us losing and we're looking at the refs, and then then there's a common denominator. Maybe we should. Maybe a measurable outcome would be not fouling so much. Working on less fouls.
Yeah.
Measurable outcomes that would increase our progress. More shots on goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe talking to the refs less. We do have some players that really like to, throw their hands up,
Chatty
sit
Cathy's.
there and chat to
Yeah.
the refs the whole time. And like, I got to be honest, y'all. Like, refs are human. There's not a ref on this earth that if you come at them sideways, that they're going to be like, you know what, buddy? I will call a fair game now. Thanks for putting me in my place. They're never like that.
Yeah.
Like, versus you just being like, ref, I understand why you call what you call, but can you like watch this, because this player over here is doing this to me constantly. Can you please keep eyes out for it? Like, come at them in a way that they're going to feel like, oh, they're not attacking me, and maybe I will look out for that next time. Versus us being like, what are you even doing, ref? Like, this person did this and this person did this. That shuts them down. And then they've just decided, all right, Lexington's losing today.
And I have to say, we watched the game and we sat with Maddie Parsons from the Super League team. Shout out to Maddie for being super cool and sitting with us. And she said the exact same thing, Tyler. She said, when you're a player on the field, it's best to just be respectful to the referee. If you're noticing a problem that you're having with another player, go to the referee, say, hey, just can you keep a lookout for number 7? They keep doing this. And then the referee will be, they'll probably look into that for you, and they'll probably call some things your way. If you just be respectful and talk to them level-headed, you catch more flies with honey.
Yeah.
So one other thing we haven't mentioned about the Tulsa game yet is Luke Stauffer played the entire 90.
He did.
You can tell. You can tell he had a score to settle with us. Like, and honestly, I think he played like, okay, now you guys can see. You guys watch how you lost out on a great player, and I mean, he did really well. Unfortunately.
His FOT mob rating isn't the highest out of his team. Owen Dam hadn't he is pretty highly rated on FOT mob. I know a lot of people are pretty upset about him as well. But Lucas, I thought he had a good game, and he really wanted to stick it to us. And honestly, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. And I heard some of our fans yelling at him and heckling him. I didn't give him shit at all. I have no problems with Lucas. I guess maybe I'm a little biased because he came on the podcast, and I've talked to him, and he's a nice guy. But I also just I don't know. I booed Charlie when he went to Knoxville. But I'm not gonna boo Lucas. I honestly, he deserves the playing time, and he wanted to stick it to us. We deserve to be stuck.
Right.
Yeah, can't hold back. You know what I mean? With the former team or not, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I don't have a magic answer for this. It was cool seeing Lucas out there and thriving and everything. I wish he was with us, but we just this Tampa game has to be a win. Has to be a win. They are bottom of the East. They're doing even worse than we are. Like, they are bottom of the bottom. And so this is going to be a potential get right game for one of our two teams. It's got to be us. It's going to be at home for us too, against the literal worst team in the league by points in performance. So I mean, I feel like if we lose to Tampa, like, I can even accept a draw. I will begrudgingly accept a draw. But if we lose to Tampa, I'm smashing the heck out of that panic button.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Getting out, Mjolnir and it can't happen. It can't, because if we are their get right game, that shows that we did not adjust accordingly to take advantage of an ideal matchup against a team that is struggling probably worse than we are. And that's not just us saying it. I feel like we've talked to, at least a dozen fans that are saying the same thing. Like, we're going to be having a lot of trouble believing in positive outcomes if we can't make this one. So, obviously we're still going to be here supporting this team, but it's going to hurt knowing that we couldn't make that happen. So no pressure, but pressure. Right. You got to have pressure in this case, because right now, like, it's not coming without pressure. So we got to embrace it. The whole squad's got to do their thing, and we got to come out of this one with 3 points and try and dig our way out of this. Too many more of these losses in a row. No progress, right? And that's what we just talked about.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about actual progress. Our women's team, Super League, I feel like they've made progress. Yeah. Notable progress. We have not seen wins. So this is a perfect example of when we're talking about progress over outcomes. The women have made progress on the field in the way that they play and their style. And it seems like they have a little bit more of that verve back, They're kind of out there doing their thing with a little bit more freedom. Whereas for a while, it felt like everybody was very bogged down. And it just felt the vibes were very off. And I feel like they're very on again. We've not seen points from it. True. But I feel like we've seen progress. And we're seeing the players kind of get back into that style that we were hoping that they would find again. So thinking about our most recent matchup against Fort Lauderdale, let's get some thoughts out there.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a good game overall. Like, it was a really tight, close game, other than the one goal, and it was an own goal off of, an attempted clearance, just ricocheted off of one of our players, and just really unfortunate. And like Sarah, it's like I've said before, Sarah keeps us in games. She made a penalty save too, which was absolutely nutty. So
that was really cool.
Yeah, she's just incredible. And like, it feels like you said, Tyler, the team is getting kind of their groove back a little bit. Like, they're kind of feeling themselves. They're playing better as a team. I feel like even there's more communication on the field between the players. I noticed that at the game. And there was a lot more attempted shots in this game too that I saw. I don't know the exact numbers and statistics, but it felt that way. I know Maddie Parsons was ripping shots, which was really encouraging to see. And man, it would just be super nice if we can just get her up front and center. Like, for the last game, can we just have her starting at the 9? It would just be really cool to throw get a little throwback action, or get the OG lineup back together in a way. If everyone's fit and able, if we can get something similar to that, that would be really cool. I would love to see Mary Kate out there. Honestly, she still, statistically, is one of our best players, and she isn't seeing the field, and that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I know that quite a few people are injured, and So hopefully there are some people who can come back. I know Autumn is day to day. So, maybe she will be available hopefully for the last match. We'll be able to see the field. But man, like you said, Tyler, there's just something more there. I don't know if it's like a different head coach and maybe there was a problem with, something else going on. So I don't know. I don't know. They're a fun team to root for. They got good vibes and they're good people. They're really good people. They're really nice to talk to. They're really appreciative of all the support. And I don't know. I have a easy time rooting for them.
Yeah. Well, and we got to see Courtney Jones back out there too. She'd been recovering from an injury. Laramie, we got to see her out there, which
that was cool.
Also, so it's been also really neat in that sense, seeing some of the players we haven't seen all season. Unfortunately, probably partly due to the other injuries we have. But I think given that and how well they played together, it was an unfortunate result, but I didn't walk away from the game like frustrated. That was an awesome game to watch, and it just that one just little accident, so I feel really good about that game, and I feel really good going into the final game on the 31st.
Yeah, I 100% agree because, we, excuse me, we brought up that own goal. And that was like a freak accident own goal too. It wasn't like misplay on the ball or anything. It was literally just like you're standing in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there's nothing you could do to react to it. And sometimes soccer is just cruel like that. And so when you look at it from that perspective, it wasn't a mishap on our part. Like nobody was doing anything wrong. We could have come away with the points, and but that's okay. I felt at peace about it because it was like, what are you going to do in that situation? It's not like anybody could have done anything truly different that would have really changed that outcome. And you talked about, Jessica, like how you didn't walk away frustrated. I didn't either, because it just felt so much better the way they were clicking, and there were so many chances in that game where there was like a force field blocking their net, I swear, because the ball just would not go in. It would be bouncing around right there at the goal line, and it just could not make it across. And I don't think it was really because of, our team not being able to get the job done. It just, again, soccer is a cruel sport. And in that moment, it was just like, no, you're not going to have this. But I appreciated how many opportunities we were creating. I mean, we had 10 shots in the match. They had 13. So we were pretty toe-to-toe with them throughout the matchup. And I felt like we really were trying to press more. Ben Willis, the acting head coach right now, he had mentioned in the post-match interviews that he really wanted the team to try and press hard, like do a high press, be aggressive, don't sit back, like really, really put the pressure on teams. And I think you were seeing that in that match, whenever he said that, I'm like, okay, yes. Like I noticed that we were actually getting back to it, because for the longest time in this half of the season, since the break was over, we would do this whole thing where most of the team would sit really far back, and then you'd see an attacker really high up, disconnected from everybody else. And then these long balls going to them, and you'd be like, all right, you're by yourself against 4 other players. See what you can do about it. And I don't think that's what's happening now. I feel like there's a lot more support. And I got to echo what you're saying, Dylan. Like, I still, for the life of me, cannot fathom why Parsons is not at the 9. If you're going to have her on the field, she should be at the 9. Like, that's where she was scoring her goals, was at the 9. And like this far into the season, and you're still talking about our players from the first half of the season being amongst the top players for goal contributions, and yet you're still not going back to that original formula. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why not? And, Parsons, to me, just even looking at her game, we all appreciate it, just feels so much more natural at the 9. It doesn't feel forced. Like on the wing, sometimes feels a little forced. Like it's just like, well, that's where we want you because like we want this particular set of personnel. But I mean, we've mixed things up all season. Like JJ, for instance, like she's been back in the back line, and when she played for the W League, she was one of our attacking players. So it's like clearly we're not afraid to mix it up. But like, can we maybe remix that up a little bit and then see what happens?
Yeah.
It just I don't know, baby. It's felt better though. I will say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's you just got to stick with the hot hand, right? You
Yes.
know, and Maddie Parsons at the 9 with Mary Kate out on a wing
Yeah.
is a hot hand, and it
Shay in the
helped.
middle.
Yeah, and it helped when Shin was there delivering passes to Mary Kate out on the wing, and then Mary Kate could provide to Maddie, in the middle.
Yeah.
Or we have our right back or left backs joining up on the attack, and
Mhm.
like there's just a lot of good opportunities that we can create, but I feel like we're not putting the team in the best position themselves in order to
Yeah.
do that. We got to put the right players out, the right combo of players out there to get what we, to get that desired outcome, which is a goal, and those players together are going to get you that outcome. And at least, like, if they're not going to directly get you that outcome, they're going to set you up for more like set piece opportunities, whether they're corner kicks or free kicks out in the area, those, dead ball shots. And we scored a lot on those in the first half of the season. Also in the fall,
Yeah.
Maddie Perez was like an integral part of our offense because of her set piece taking,
For real.
and now, like, where's that been? We're not
Yeah.
getting those set piece opportunities because we're not getting the ball in those
Mhm.
areas anymore, right? So
Mhm.
I think if we just went back to the OG lineup, OG formula with a little bit of what Ben Willis is doing, I don't think he's doing a bad job. I
Mm-mm.
think the pressing is really good. But if we just kind of get those players mix in with that pressing mentality, I think we could really be something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I think like you marry the two together and then you got something good. And I would really like to see some of these players that we saw at the beginning that were providing success get that one last hurrah before the
Yeah.
season's out. It just kind of, in a lot of ways, it just sucks to see the players that like work so hard on the front end
Mm-hmm.
not be able to see it through on the back end of it all. So
Yeah.
it just and this is nothing against the new players because it's no fault of theirs. You know what I mean? I love that they're here. I'm glad that they came to represent us, but it just stinks when you look back and you say this player contributed a whole lot for several months, but I don't know. You
But
don't really
even in
see.
the same, it's not like one for one the amount of playing time, but the new players who are getting the amount of playing time have not done with the minutes that the other players like a
Yeah,
Mary Kate have done.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean, I like again, who watches the Watchmen? Who's looking at the statistics and saying to the other people that these are the players who are making an impact for our team?
Mhm.
yeah. It's fair. I just yeah, it's toughy. You know what I mean? And I mean the big positive from this too though is to see the type of performance that they put on, the way that they fought so hard, and knowing that we're eliminated from playoff contention, knowing that we're just a couple games out from the end of the season. Now we are at the last game, right? But I still don't think that any fight has been lost. I don't think that there's any like, you know what, it's all a
Right.
foregone conclusion. Let's just phone it in from this point on. And that just is the character of this team. I just feel
Yeah.
like the squad is always trying. Even when we got new talent in, it wasn't like the effort dropped at all. Like they all kind of bought into this mindset of like you're going to go out there and you're going to play as hard as you can and see if you can't get the results that we're looking for. I feel this last game is a win. We're
Yeah.
gonna end on a win. I just
Well,
the progress is there.
And it's against DC, so we're both eliminated teams. So both of us are going into it we're like there's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And it's the last game, so why not just go all out?
Go all in, all the way. Like I would love to see us just go crazy. Go just play fun, play free, like just see what happens. Get some players in that maybe, want to get them that last hurrah before the season's done through, and give the fans something to really get psyched about. Something that can be built off of for the coming season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's, I don't know. This is like a bittersweet topic too. Like I'm so glad that the girls are doing good, but now I'm like, it's almost over. And we talked about this before. Then you have like that dread starting to set in of like, okay, so who's gonna still be here? And we all know what Lexington Sporting Club likes to do. It's clean house, and then let's just start all anew. But we're gonna say that we're not gonna get all sad, and we're gonna stay happy right now. We're winning. We're winning against DC. We're sending them home with 0 points. We're getting all 3 on this one, and we're gonna get a Shea Moyer banger for old time's sake. She's gonna shoot from like 40 yards out, and it's gonna be a screamer. We haven't seen one of those in too long, so I'm manifesting it now. I'm ordering it. I'm putting it on the ticket and saying I will have one Shea Moyer banger, please. We're gonna get like a nasty Parsons header. It's gonna be great. She's just gonna crash in, and then there it is. And then they heard Dylan's request. Mary Kate is gonna come do some like crazy bicycle kick, and we got this. We're getting everything we want. It's done. What do you want, Jessica? You didn't put in your order.
Oh, jeez. Put me on
Double
the
of all the
spot.
above. Double of all the above. One of everything.
Hat trick for Maddie.
Hat trick for Maddie. Maddie hat trick. There we go.
There we go.
That's what we want. That's
gotta include Hannah Richardson in there.
Ooh, yeah.
I think a goal for her too. Yeah.
Let's just say hat trick for her. She got that one hat trick stolen from her that game that she was on fire, and she was totally about to get it, and then we pulled her out right before she did. Like,
still mad about that.
You robbed us of the Hannah Richardson hat trick. Like, we needed that.
Yeah.
We'll get it all. It's been spoken into the universe, so we'll be totally fine. We got this. We got like 2 weeks until that match, so it's kind of like a weird amount of time to have to sit on like this and be like 2 weeks until it's all over, huh? I feel like the meme of the dude that's just like sitting like in various places, just staring at the ground, and that's like me for the next 2 weeks as I'm like dreading saying goodbye to the season.
Yeah. One more manifestation. Clean sheet for Sarah.
Yes. That's a good call out. Yeah. There we go.
Clean sheet for Sarah.
She's gonna do it. That PK save that you brought up, Dylan.
Yeah.
That was so good. Like nothing makes you feel better as a keeper, but also as like a fan too. As a fan, seeing your keeper save a PK, like that gets you like just as psyched as a goal, I feel, because it's so hard to do. It's so difficult to save a PK. And like when I see our keepers do it, I'm just like, yes, we're gonna win everything now. Like, I cannot get past my keeper.
It's like a huge like morale jolt to the whole like the team and the crowd.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you just know whoever's going up to take that kick is like it's automatic. I'm about to score, and just kind of like how the player for Tulsa acted. Like, oh, it's a done deal. And then Sarah Cox was like, no, and then swatted it out of the air.
You said Tulsa.
Oh, it was like the Tulsa player whenever he was like celebrating when he earned the PK.
He was referencing.
Yeah, like all these players when they earn it, they're just like it's an auto goal, it's a done deal.
Oh, gotcha.
It's just so nice whenever you have a keeper that shuts those things down, and Sarah did that. She did that.
Yeah,
she is her. So I think I'm seriously. I think we're gonna go out on top. We got this. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Year one, we have a lot of things to build off of. I just hope that this final game leaves everybody feeling awesome, and then like next season we get way more support out, like way more human beings
Yeah.
coming to watch the ladies
We
play
need,
Yeah.
we need
because
a lot
that
more.
yes, because attendance for the ladies is such a bummer. I need them to need Lexingtonians when I say them to pick it up.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can do that as a city.
Right.
We need to.
I'm
Oh,
really interested in what the future holds for the Super League team
Yeah.
after the season and into the next season. If the powers that be are listening, I really, really hope they take stock into who matters to the fans. And also, if you realize that the people who matter to the fans are also the people who are making an impact and making progress on the field.
yeah.
Yeah. Gotta say it, man. Gotta say it. Because if you're ever going to build something, we say this all the time on this pod, but apparently nobody listens. If you're going to build a sports team that's going to capture a city, you have to have those players that people feel like that is my player. They've been with this club, they've been scoring goals, or they've been saving goals, or they've been doing whatever it is they do, and they're here for the city, and you know they're here for the city. It's not like we made a PR appearance one time and I got paid for it. It's like they did it because they wanted to be a part of that. You got to keep those people around. Like
Yeah.
all the little kids who come to the games and get their shoes signed by the players.
Yeah.
And then you have to be a parent and being like, well, you're not going to be able to wear the shoe anymore because that player's not going to be here. You know,
Right.
like the
Right.
shoe's worthless now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to keep buying new shoes every season for your kid. God.
Yeah.
It's going to be ridiculous.
It's just, and you think about it too, where I've heard a lot where the club has worked with Lou City to try and capture what they've managed to do with growing a fan base and getting people really locked in. And it's like, well, they also have players that have stuck around and that they've kept around and have become like a cornerstone. So you kind of need that as part of it. And that's a piece of the formula that we're just like refusing to acknowledge. It's still just like, no, you'll get attached to somebody else. Don't worry about it. And it's like, no, here we are. We're still talking about those players that actually made an impact and then actually made fans feel loved after matches.
Yeah.
And, when you get rid of those people that come over and make you as a fan feel like, hey, I'm here playing for you guys. And like, I want to show appreciation for you being here to cheer me on. Start ditching those people. You don't really have anything to build off of at that point. So maybe the club will see that. And with the Super League, they will take that into account with decisions that will be made at some point. You can only hope. And if they don't, then I guess they'll continue to just wallow in this whole thing of where we're like, well, let's just find a new toy. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. It stinks. Man. Anyway, I'm not going down that bummer path. Final thoughts, guys.
Everyone go out to the last game of the season for the women. I think it's really important to show them support. I'll be there. I'm a sicko. I'm at every game. So, be there. Show your support.
I'm sad we'll be out of town. I know.
Just
I know.
is a fake
you're
fan.
gonna be out for the last one?
Fake fan.
I didn't even know that.
I mean,
Dang.
I'm
going to get a life-size cardboard cutout of you and bring it.
There you go. I think if I skipped out on my nephew's birthday party because I'm like, sorry guys, I've got soccer, it probably would not go over very well.
Plot twist. Make him come here and have his birthday party at Lexington Sporting Club Stadium. And he's like, I don't even like soccer. I'm like, well, you do now.
Yeah.
Just say, I know. I get it. Life happens.
Yeah,
life happens.
Yeah.
Life be lifing. But in spirit, you'll be there.
I will 100% have the live stream going.
I'm serious. I'm gonna get a giant cardboard cutout of you, and I'm just gonna pull a bunch of sound bites from our episodes and put a little voice box thing that I can press a button and you'll just say things randomly. I won't even know if it's gonna be the right thing.
It'll just be New Girl quotes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. It'll just be you like heckling the other team's players, like, I bet you don't even own a kimono, and that.
Are you the criminals from the statistics? Youths,
street youths. Yeah, that'll be what it is. Cool. But hey, like everybody said, come out to these matches. Guys facing off against Tampa Bay. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Because that ideally should be a win. Um, just, I'm saying it now. It should be a win. And then more importantly, in my mind, is seeing the ladies off for the final game of the season. That's a
Yeah.
really, really big one. God, we need people out there. The weather is nice. Nobody has an excuse. Like, unless you're just like women's sports, I hate women's sports, then I don't know, get a life and adjust your viewpoints because like it's such a good time watching them play and that view's terrible anyway. So you got to support them, come out, bring everybody you know, because this is their like last hurrah. And as we know, we never know who's going to come back. And they've poured so much into the city. And maybe results didn't always come, but the effort always did. So I hope that we can make them feel that appreciation before they ride off into the sunset into June and enjoy their summer and then hopefully come back re-energized and then we take the league by storm and walk around handing wooden spoons to other teams. Like, take that.
So real quick, what's the wooden spoon thing? I'm not familiar with what the wooden spoon is.
It's good you asked.
Get used to it, Jessica.
No, we're not getting used to it. We avoided it last year. It's just the team that has the worst record in the league. That's their trophy is a wooden spoon.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Unfortunately, we may or may not have the wooden spoon for the inaugural Super League season. But you know what? Whatever. I wanted a new spoon anyway. Because my old one's cracked and you know what? You don't want your pasta sauce to burn whenever you're making pasta. I don't know. I tried to make that work.
It has its uses.
It has several uses, and you're going to be jealous that you don't have a new spoon when the time comes. That's what we'll tell the other teams. That's some good banter right there. That's quality. It's some wholesome banter. Dylan's shaking his head. Oh, yeah, I know. I tried, man. All right, guys. Well, you know the drill. Support. Believe, then support again. Okay. Until we see you guys at the next game or you hear us on the next episode, you know what it is. Come on, you Greens.